Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What is happening? Welcome to the London Open. It's 9 a.m. and London is on its way. So, pretty interesting evening last night, guys. Bitcoin decides to make the reversal. It's Thursday. I mean, come on. Last Thursday, same story. Look what they did. They just took price all the way to the downside. We saw the reversal happen, then they followed through with it all the way into the weekend. But why is this area so important right now? Well, look, the takeaway that I want you to get from this video is simple. All right? Watch the streams. Why? Why am I telling you to watch the streams? Because this is how you're going to understand how this system works. And you're going to see the market makers' behavior continuously over and over again. Of course, the idea is, do you get into the trade when you think that what you believe is going to happen will play out? This is the game of trading. Welcome to the game of speculation, ladies and gentlemen. This has nothing to do with crypto. It has nothing to do with anything else other than trading itself. You're either in crypto for the nature of being in crypto, or you're in trading crypto for the idea of understanding how to trade. Okay? Because ultimately, whether this is Bitcoin, oxygen, wheat, grass, coffee, orange, it doesn't matter. The principles behind trading still stand. Why? Because human behavior doesn't change. Let's look back. The last time Bitcoin made this big pump to the upside, they spent a little bit of time on the Thursday accumulating in this area. Most were expecting a move higher. So was I. I was expecting Bitcoin to bounce off this 50 EMA given that the move that had happened, okay, came in on very good news. But then we also had this idea of Ukraine and Russia. There was a lot of news plays happening, and in the end, they ended up dropping price to the downside. Now, with this play right here, let's just go back in time. In last night's stream, we were talking about the idea that Bitcoin could come back down into this point. We also established that if Bitcoin was going to continue higher, what would we need to see? And we were discussing that the 5 and the 13 EMA would need to expand out and price would need to continue higher to that point. And we established that if they were going to move higher, Bitcoin would likely hit this area here as the level 1. Okay, that's only if they held this zone. And that's always going to be the case, guys. When you are dealing with the unknown to the right of the chart, you're always going to have to measure out the likeliness of price going to that point or not. This is the game of trading, guys. Okay? Nothing to do with crypto. It's all to do with the game of trading. Now, looking at the chart itself, you can see that they've initiated the reversal for Thursday. Happy days. We're in Thursday. We know it's a reversal day. And look what's happened. They've reversed price. They're reversing price to set it up for the weekend. Now, the good thing about this reversal is the fact that it's come back down into this range and held at the psychological low. This is important because if Bitcoin does break down lower into this area here, okay, then there's a good chance that Bitcoin is likely to come back into this range right here. Frankly, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think we're going to see that much activity until the New York session because we have news plays coming out later on, which is the US CPI index reading, and there's 2 readings coming out, and then of course the unemployment claims, and then after that on the Thursday we have the preliminary consumer sentiment coming out as well. Okay, so we don't have that much information coming out, but it is impressionable on the markets. So they could actually be preparing price for something. Now, how can we utilize this information? So let's look at gold. Gold right now has dropped. There's been a lot of profit taken in gold. Given with the uncertainty going off across the world, let's have a look at what they're saying. Here we go. US passes funding bill that includes nearly $14 billion in Ukraine aid. So they're getting help. All right. Now we can see Russia becomes the world's most sanctioned country. So everything that they're talking about right now is the aftermath of the war itself. Okay. We're not really seeing anything impressionable, nothing that's going to cause people concern. But look, we've already got it. They're starting to drip it in now. The inflation. So war has been absorbed right now. Russia's doing what it's doing. Okay, now they're trying to establish peace talks, aid and what have you. The market has in essence absorbed that information. Now we're going to be addressing the idea of inflation. That's what's going to be taken out and that's what's going to be pushed out to everyone. Look, Dollar index forecast ahead of the US inflation data. So now that's what's more concerning people. That's what they're going to be doing now, is reversing and moving price in particular zones to anticipate the discussion on inflation. Looking at gold, are they reducing gold in order to get it cheaper at the highest possible point? In other words, is the information that's going to come out today going to have an impact on price to the upside for gold? Which, with that being said, looking at the market cap chart, look, man, they're coming back up and hitting these zones left, right, and center, guys. Okay? Please, if there's anything that you do, go back and watch the streams. Highlight these zones in the chart and pay attention to what price does. Remember, when price drops in the UK, in the US dominance chart itself, it means traders are seeking crypto. That means they're buying into Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, you name it. When it's reversing back up, it's because people are putting their money back into USDT because they're also taking profits. And of course, they could be in fear of any information that could be coming out later on, which could affect cryptocurrency. All right. Good news by Biden. He's executed this order. That's going to be beneficial for crypto. Well, it all depends on what the regulation's going to imply. In my opinion, I think it's all going to be based on leverage. The idea of leverage is going to be, I think they're going to control a little bit of the leverage, no different to what they did in Forex a few years ago. All right. A few years ago, you could get a 2,000 to 1 leveraged account, 1,000 to 1. They were just throwing out leverage to people. Now, there are still brokers out there that do provide that, but those brokers are unregulated. And a lot of people tend to shy away from the idea of putting money into an exchange or a broker that's not regulated, because a broker at any instance, when you want to withdraw your money from an unregulated broker, they technically don't need to give you that cash. You know, that's the sad truth about it. So be careful when you are searching for brokers, guys. Make sure they're regulated. Okay. Now, looking at what has happened across the board, especially with Bitcoin, we can safely assume that the fact that they've come back down into this zone means that we are at a turning point in the chart. If the news comes out favorable for the dollar, then dollar's going to come back up, and Bitcoin seems to be following dollar yen's behavior. Look at this. Dollar yen has dropped back down, and Bitcoin has, well, it has dropped, but we're waiting for the recovery for Bitcoin to come into play. So what I'm saying to you is this. Be mindful, now that we've got the vector candles that have been recovered in this zone right here, okay? Look across the market cap and see where there is a good chance that they're likely to come back to. There's a zone that they're likely to come back to in this area here, okay? Look at gold. Yeah? Look at the S&P. The S&P yesterday did a nice little gap up. They came back down. Have they filled that gap yet? Not yet. There's that gap. But then when you look at price on the mini futures, you can see that they've come back down aggressively, but now they've stepped back up again. So that's a positive thing. The government bonds, rising. So risk is back on. But it's going to be holding today because of what's going on with dollar yen. I mean, the dollar itself. Ethereum. Last night, we had a conversation about Ethereum. All right, I took a screenshot because this screenshot is going to help me understand how to project. And this is something that you can get into the habit of. Projecting. Yeah? Make a commitment in the chart. So this is what I drew out last night. The psychological ranges that Ethereum was going to break down, focusing on the smaller time frames, understanding the behavior of the volume decreases as price was rising. Okay? So when the volume starts to decrease and price rises, you've got yourself a little bit of divergence there. Okay? The market maker is slowing down. He's getting ready to prepare and move to the opposite direction. Why? Because he's now got the traders trapped. We've got an FTD play right here, ladies and gentlemen. FTD is in principle fooling the dealer. Now, fooling the dealer means that when you go into this coin right here and you enter in this area, you're buying into this point because you believe this is buying the dip. Okay? The market makers, in essence, bring price back down to give you that illusion. And then when price reverses back up, you're thinking that you've caught the best trade and it's going to continue back up towards this zone. And then he initiates the stop hunt rise and then reverses aggressively to shake traders out. Okay? That's an FTD. But when we say fool the dealer, we're not going to get fooled by the dealer. We're fooling the dealer because we're not letting him make us believe that price is going to continue higher from that point. Okay? With the influx of volume to the downside, we kind of got the picture that it was going to come back down. Okay. Looking at things across the board, ladies and gentlemen, we can see that a lot of liquidations have been absorbed. Okay, you can see that is evident right there. All the longs have been taken right here. Now a lot of shorts are starting to come in. $171 million worth of shorts came in this zone right here. And we also had, other than that, there's not been that much more liquidity other than a few dips right here. 46 million and 66 million right there. Some longs have been opened in this zone as well, which is pretty interesting. What we got here, $106 million worth of longs have been opened, but then at the same time, some of them have been liquidated in this zone. So it's pretty interesting that they keep on snapping orders in and out of this zone. Also, we've got the open interest profile as well. So at the current price point of around just above 39,000, you can see open interest is quite low. I'm not really seeing that much in the delta. Not much on the volume profile, and look, it's literally buys and sells right there. There's nothing happening, okay, which is going to be consistent with what's going on in the market right now in anticipation for news plays. So in London session, guys, be mindful that nothing might actually happen until New York. They could actually come back up a little bit, come down and recover some of the wick right here, but quite frankly, until the news comes out today, we ain't going to see anything until New York. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, mad love and respect. Be sure to like and subscribe. I hope that has served the purpose, and I'm sorry if I've chewed your ear for 11 minutes, and I hope you have yourselves a wonderful day. Before we go, can someone tell me please how many times I've said ladies and gentlemen in this video in the comments? Mad love, guys. Peace.